Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Golf Central, recapping round one of the Honda Classic, among other various tour stops. Kelly Tillman, Jim Gallagher Jr. and Frank Nobilo with you. Now the Honda Classic can have a lot of bite, but there are some youngsters atop this leaderboard who do not know the difference, some making their first start and sharing a piece of the lead.
It's also good scoring out there. It's all conditions that allowed that good scoring, and you're seeing a good mix of some young players and guys making the transition. Brian coming off of a good finish last week, and I know some of the guys who grew up on Bermuda are really enjoying being back on that type of grass, but conditions like this, Frank, you're going to see some good scores.
Yeah, you got to say they got a bit of a reprieve this afternoon, but it's amazing what happens when you get a gross of players, 144 that is, and put them on the East Coast on a really good golf course. And I think we're used to seeing that sort of blend of scores, but it is nice to see some players probably, as you're saying, Wesley Bryant, for example, Cody Gribble, who probably didn't get enough credit with their golf over the last 12 months because it wasn't on the big tour.
Major champions in contention as well, the likes of Martin Kaymer, who, as we know, can be very hot and cold with the state of his game. When he's hot, look out, there's no one better on the planet. We pick up Kaymer at number 9, the par 4, and this is for birdie.
Yeah, normally a pretty tough hole with this whole location cut back there. Of course, won the Players' Championship, so he's starting to trend in the right direction with his golf game, but like you said, it's up and down sometimes with him.
Been showing signs of life. This is a precarious spot, but this guy's a major champion and a former world number 1.
Remember when you used to say he couldn't chip? I guess you said the players, you had the PGA Championship, had a US Open, had just about everything else, winning Ryder Cups.
That was at 11. He would stay at 4 under, and here at 14, after missing the green, here is his third from the bunker.
Yeah, that green really goes away. Just really no chance to get the ball close. I don't care how good a bunker player you are, really tough to do that.
So he falls to 3 under par. Kaymer at the 17th. It's a par 3, and he's chipping for his second. So you can talk about this, Frank.
I got to say it again. Remember when we said he couldn't chip? Right? He struggled chipping? Yeah. Different Kaymer. Amazing. It's really solid round of golf too, especially if that wind starts to kick up, because it will not bother a player of his caliber.
It is a round of 66, and you're looking at his best worldwide finishes since the 2014 US Open. He can disappear on you, but when he comes back, he typically surges and resurges to very, very good form. Martin Kaymer does not have a great history on this golf course. He hasn't cracked the top 40 in his history on it, but something's going right for him. He talks about the course.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, usually the golf course that we play these days is just, get it out there somewhere and try to make some putts. But here you really have to think your way around the golf course. And the wind, usually when it's up, it's very difficult to play. And I enjoy that, when you stand on the first tee and don't feel like you're already 4 or 5 shots behind, because you need to make birdies. Even level par, 1 under par is a very good score on that golf course.
And it's good to see a fellow European, Ian Poulter, back on U.S. soil. He's making his first start since he's been battling that arthritic foot problem. He played pretty well overseas with a tie for 15th in Dubai, and here he is on form at the Honda.
Yeah, he started the year with a major medical 10 events to make right around 347,000. So he's got some points earlier than that and a few tournaments in.
He would get to 2 under there after an eagle at number 3 and after a birdie at 4, Frank.
Yeah, just roll it in. It was a nice little run of form for Poulter. Quickly got him to 4 under.
At the 5th. Okay, so now to the par 3 7th and his second from the bunker.
Well, when you had some time off, this part of your game kind of shows a little bit of rust, or maybe not as sharpness, but not there for Poulter.
So that was nice and tidy, and he would remain at 4 under par after that par-saving effort. And it's good to see a smile on that face. He's been in a lot of pain in recent months, but Ian Poulter is in contention at the Honda Classic, still looking for that first stroke play victory on U.S. soil after the age of 40, no less. Let's move on to one of these star youngsters, Frank, and Ricky Fowler. We pick him up at the par 4 9th. He has some good history around here. He calls this area his home.
Had the 36-hole lead last year without making a single bogey. This was a huge drive down 9. He just only had 116 yards in. Took the water, took the bunkers out of play, nearly took the flag out of play.
And he would get that one and get it 2 under par. Fowler at number 11 from 191.
Yeah, perfect tee shot. Very difficult hole, playing back into the wind. The green's very wide, but not very deep.
I love how he whips through that golf ball.
Acceleration, follow through.
And that to 9 feet. And let's see if he can make the birdie putt.
Pretty good mid-range putter. Has a nice little brisk putting stroke.
So he is at 3 under. Watch out for Ricky Fowler here at the par 4 16th, his 3rd from the bunker.
You know, look about acceleration. That's how you have to hit a bunker shot. Most amateurs trying to decelerate going through. He accelerates through, allows the club to slide underneath. Nicely done there.
Well, Ricky Fowler right at home in the area that he calls home. As we take a look at his scorecard, Ricky Fowler at 4 under par. And this golf course certainly keeps him on his toes, but he handles it well.
I feel like it forces me to kind of stay on top of my game and focus on the shot that I'm trying to hit, or where I'm trying to place the ball in the fairway to give myself a chance at hitting the green. Because you really can't play this golf course from the rough. It gave you a chance today just because of the soft greens. But once it firms up, if it gets to where it was, before the rain yesterday, then you really don't have a chance of playing out of the rough, because there's not many greens that you can run the ball up on. It has to be a forced carry, and unless you have maybe a wedge out of there, but other than that, you really try and start figuring out where you can miss the green and get the ball up and down. So, like I said, it keeps me on top of my game, focusing, and it's got a fun variety. Not just drivers and mid irons. There's a good variety. Some different clubs off tees, and you have wedges to long irons into greens.
You need a complete game, and Adam Scott certainly has brought that on occasion. He recorded his 9th straight round of par or better in this tournament, 15 under in that span. Jim?
Well, this is the 15th hole, 179 yards. Had a disaster here last year on this hole, but went on to win. But that's a very difficult bunker shot, kind of on the flat, kind of on the downslope. Really accelerates through, allows the club to slide under. Just hard to get it close from there.
Yeah, this one's sailing past the hole, and it would result in bogey, so he falls back to even par, but he refuses to finish this round outside of red numbers.
Yeah, got a little nibble taken away from the start of the bear trap, but here in the middle, fights back himself. Nice putt from 20 feet.
Your defending champion, he was super hot on the Florida swing last year, picking off not 1 but 2 victories. He says he plays well in blocks. Well, it would be nice to defend this title. Only one man has done it in history, as you're looking at the best finishes by defending champions. Yes, Jack Nicklaus in 1978. It is always good to keep company with the Golden Bear. And moving on to the men that we were talking about at the top of the show, a pair of 26-year-olds in Wesley Bryan and Cody Gribble. No one playing better than them right now.
No, you win 3 times on the web.com tour, got the promotion, and then continues. Had a really good week last week at Riviera.
That was Wesley Bryan who posted a 64, and Gribble on the 10th for birdie.
There's only a couple of left-handers on the PGA Tour that have won younger than Cody Gribble. They can all putt. Lefty, stand on the other side of the ball if you want to putt better, I guess.
And how do you say it, Frank? This guy is a bull striker.
A ball striking
Cody
Jesse.
Gribble finding all
Yes.
18 greens in regulation.
I didn't think that was possible.
Well, at the Honda
Amazing,
Classic
yeah.
since 1990, it hasn't been. But he made it happen. A feather in his cap. And right now we hear from Gribble and Bryan on how they're handling the transition to the PGA Tour.
Still learning a lot out here. It's, I think, something that I have a problem with. I think I easily lose confidence, and when I kind of get it rolling, it's just kind of a snowball effect, I think, and I need to work on that. There's no telling what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm swinging a lot better than I was a couple weeks ago, and just kind of knowing my swing, but regardless of that, just kind of learning how to be out here, trying to keep your confidence high and try to maintain a flat level, but I'll get there.
I think the comfort out here this week, I got into some pretty good form, but out here on a golf course that I got through Q School just about 14 months ago, and a place that I'm comfortable at, and a golf course that I know they're few and far between out here. I guess this is my first run at pretty much all these tournaments out here, but I love this place, love this golf course, and had a great day.
All smiles for Wesley Bryan, who went to the same high school as Dustin Johnson, Dutch Fork in South Carolina. Of course, that was back in the day. A couple of old men now just duking it out on the PGA Tour. And Dustin coming off victory at Riviera, not in the field, so the door is wide open as the newly minted world #1 is on pause right now. Wesley Bryan hoping to capitalize, coming off a top 5 at Riviera. A lot of good names in this mix, and we've heard from many of them so far. And it is surprising to note, especially in a Florida golf tournament, that the winds weren't as friendly in the morning as they were in the afternoon, because we know how it can start calm and get a little wilder as the day goes on, but the morning wave got the best of it today.
Well,
the worst of it, I should say.
Actually, we were expecting the wind to pick up, and that's what it normally does here. And then last week we had a huge difference in the waves, and we didn't see that today. We normally see that somewhere in the Florida events because of the difference in the afternoon, springtime or whatever. But you saw these guys, and I think the toughest thing for these guys is making that transition to the web.com over to the tour. Things are bigger, a lot more distractions, but these two guys have done a very good job of it. Of course, Cody won at the Sanderson Farms, Wesley Bryan continuing some good plays. So I don't know, maybe these guys are learning so much on the web.com, Frank, when they make that transition. They're learning how to win the different things. It's a little bit easier, and they're hungry.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why the PGA Tour elected to put the Q School in front of the web.com rather than in between. And we see a lot more winners. Plus, when you play a full season on the web.com, you're still competing. And I think these guys are coming to the big tour actually with a lot more game because of that. The other thing too, just to last week it was the early late wave that got the benefit. I mean, could very well be late early because the fact that wind that you referred to did not kick up, and that could be a huge huge advantage here, because at the moment the cut looks around even par. And I know that's getting ahead of ourselves, but an even par cut around 7,200 yard PGA National Golf Course champion. I mean, that's a low cut if that ever happens.
Well, 10 scores 66 or better, that rarely happens as well.
8 of the last 10 Honda Classics, of course, all staged at PGA National. The winner has been in single digits under par. It is just that challenging for these guys. But sometimes it pays to have no memory of a golf course. No PGA Tour experience, I should say.
No memory, full stop.
Which is the case for these guys at the top. Although, Wesley Bryan does have some big break experience at PGA National.
What we see now with this generation, they have things like EA Sports. They play practice rounds. I remember Formula One drivers would simulate driving around a circuit, and you would think they drive 200 miles an hour. How could they learn? And they do. And these guys, there nothing seems to be that. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything that daunts them. Maybe playing with some of the elite players in the game, but the actual golf courses themselves, they prepare very, very quickly now. The grasses, the conditions, the speed of the greens are almost identical week in, week out.
I think some of the things they do see is things are a little bit bigger. The crowds may be a little bit bigger, a few more distractions, obviously, are some of the things. But like you said, they come in with a little bit of knowledge of the golf course. Plus, they've seen it on TV. You're seeing those things. That helps. But still, can you take what you've seen and can you put it into play when you get onto the big stage? And a lot of these guys are successful so far.
And a lot of people are missing Tiger Woods, who was hopeful of being in this field, but that is just not the case. This was the scene in early February at the Omega Dubai Desert Classic. Tiger Woods withdrawing because of back spasms unrelated to his previous back issue, according to his agent, Mark Steinberg. Since the beginning of 2014, this 14-time major champion has had 4 WDs, 7 missed cuts, just 1 top 10, and 3 back surgeries. It is tough times for Tiger Woods, and the questions range. Will he win more majors? Will he win again? Or, heaven forbid, will he play again? Opinions as to why he's still competing also vary. 2-time PGA Tour winner Pat Perez, who grew up playing junior golf against Woods, he's known him for a very long time, offered his take on SiriusXM Radio earlier this week.
He's still the biggest name in the game. I don't care what anybody says.
No,
he's the biggest name in the game.
Right.
He is the needle mover. He is the needle.
Right.
It's the bottom line. I don't care if he goes out.
The stand, and the box it was shipped in.
He is everything in the game still today until he walks away. He's always going to be the name. I don't care what Dustin, Jordan, Jason Day, Rory, I don't care what any of them do. Tiger is the name, and he is the game of golf as we know it today. But the bottom line is he knows he can't beat anybody. But what he does, he's got this new corporation that he started, so he's got to keep his name relevant to keep the corporation going. So he's going to show up to a few events. He's going to try to play. He's going to show his, what's the bag? The monster. He's got to go out there and show the monster bag. Mm-hmm. He's going to show the TaylorMade driver. He's going to get on TV. He's got the Nike clothes. He's got to keep that stuff relevant. But the bottom line is he knows he can't beat anybody. He knows it. I mean, a guy shot 77. That guy can't shoot 77.
No.
And then what does he do the next day? Oh, my back's going. He knows he can't beat anybody. I told you, he's not going to come out and play poorly. I said this how many months ago? He's not going to do it for a long time. If he doesn't play Augusta, then it's over. I can tell you that right now. If he does not play Augusta, it's over. Because I said when he pulled out, because I said he was going to pull out in one of these events, and you're not going to see him play 5 events. There's no way. I called it early. Nobody believed me. Personally, I don't think you'll see him again this year. I think he's out. I don't think you'll see him again. Because the only thing he's going to care about is Augusta. Now, he hasn't played that course at the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
so it's not like he's got his favorite major courses after Augusta. I'm telling you, I don't think you're going to see this guy again. I mean, the guy can't show up to an interview. What makes you think he's going to go and you think thinks he can beat somebody? The guy can't stand in an interview.
Golf Channel asked Wood's agent, Mark Steinberg, for comment on this matter. He said he had none. Today on social media, Pat Perez expressed his disappointment in how this story has been covered and wrote, "Anyone that knows me knows that I am the biggest fan of Tiger and have the most respect for him." Still to come, if Rory McIlroy was well enough to play golf with President Trump, why isn't he in the field at the Honda Classic? Tim Rosefort joins us with that explanation. And Wesley Bryan is on quite the run, but it isn't his performance on tour that made him famous. That and more after the break.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. ShipSticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.